So Marc Guehi looked like he was off to Liverpool, but in the end he stays at Crystal Palace. It was broken last night that Oliver Glasner threatened to walk out if Guehi was sold. So great news for Palace, but how will Marc Guehi react? Let's get the thoughts of a man who's managed both of the clubs involved in the Marc Guehi saga. Former Palace and Liverpool boss, former England manager as well, Roy Hodgson. Morning, Roy.
Good morning, Roy.
Hello, Jeff and Ali. How are you?
Yeah, very good.
Very
thanks,
well,
mate.
thanks.
Look, Marc Guehi, I think everybody would say his behaviour has been exemplary during the course of this whole saga. But Roy, he wouldn't be human if he wasn't a little disappointed. How do you expect him to react now?
Well, I worked with him, of course, for about a year and a half. I found him an outstanding individual, not just an outstanding footballer, but an outstanding individual. And I suppose that's been shown quite clearly by his behaviour during this long drawn-out saga. He's the person I feel really sorry for in this, of course, because, I mean, maybe if right at the beginning it had been made clear that his task ahead would be to stay at Crystal Palace, there was no question of him leaving in the transfer window, and I'm sure maybe he could have got his head around that as well. But, you know, having been led to believe, really, and we've all been led to believe that sooner or later a deal would be done between the two clubs and he would be allowed to move, I guess that his head for the last period of time at least has been in the fact that he's going to move, but he'll remain very professional and keep on playing for the club despite the uncertainty of when that move would come about. So he's the loser in the situation. Palace should be the winner because he's such a good player, and to have a player of that calibre and a captain and leader of that calibre still with you should be seen as advantageous. But it remains to be seen, of course, how upset he may have been by what's happened during these past, well, not even days really, is it? It's the past few hours, although I think that the transfer situation could have been sorted out much, much quicker by both clubs.
It's funny, Roy, looking at it, because Jeff and I have obviously been talking about it at length this morning. And the one thing that we're almost 100% sure of, and you've touched on it there, model professional, as disappointed as he will be, he'll come back and just carry on as normal for Palace and play and give everything 100%. Flip side of the coin, Roy, you look at a couple of players in particular, Visa and Isak at Newcastle, who, in my opinion, haven't handled their situation particularly well at all. Looking at it, Roy, from their point of view, has that surprised you? Has it disappointed you? Or does it even concern you longer term for footballers?
It doesn't concern me longer term for football because it's been a part of the game for a long, long time, as you know very well yourself. I don't think it reflects well on football. I don't think it reflects well. You know, the transfer window itself is becoming an exciting period of time for the average punter who maybe without an interest in a particular club or a particular player enjoys the saga and the drama and the will it, won't it. But I don't think that's good for football, really, I must say. And it's all very well saying that, you know, being a model professional is the thing to be. And I, of course, would certainly back that wholeheartedly, having worked in football with players all my life. But I'm sad to say that if you desperately wanted to move, then it doesn't look as though it's the right thing to do going forward. It looks like the right thing to do is what Wisa and Isak have done, and unfortunately that I don't think bodes well for the game, because people who are really desperate for a move be thinking, well, hold on, if I do what Marc Guehi did and play right up to the end, the chances are I won't get the move. And the other thing I would say is just that it's all very well saying, well, it'll happen next year. But I mean, the fact is Liverpool are a very special club. Everybody knows that. They are, you know, a world famous club with world famous stars playing in their team. They win things, they win championships, and they win European championships. I would think of having a great possibility to do that this year. Yeah. So it's not easy to turn that down and say, okay, I was on my way and I've done my medical, but hold on, you're pulling me out, so okay, let's move on. I mean, I hope he can do it, Mark, but I feel really, really sorry for him. He doesn't deserve it.
No, I mean, I'm sure Palace fans have thought about the possibility, though, that maybe Palace now start to work on offering Guehi the sort of money which actually might keep him at the club. Bearing in mind, he's clearly got a love for the club. He's got a love for the area, Roy. They've won silverware. He's in the England side as it is. Do you think it's possible he could be persuaded to stay on a longer-term basis?
Well, anything's possible. We did that for years with Will Zaha. But, of course, the problem with that, and Steve, certainly privately with me, regretted the fact that, his wages put him on such a pedestal at the club, partly because, of course, it meant the wage bill of the club went up enormously. Because the thing, once you double some players' wages in the club, if you want to keep him, unfortunately, you end up, if not doubling, putting a good 20, 30, 40% on most of the other players into the bargain.
Roy, looking at the window, obviously we're talking about Guehi not making the transfer to Liverpool. Again, look at what they have done in the window, whether it's Kerkez, Frimpong, Isak, Wirtz, Ekitike. I just think, looking at Liverpool, Guehi aside, they've had a remarkable window.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it seems to me that, obviously the money isn't a problem. It wasn't a question we can't afford another 40 or 50, we can only squeeze out 30 or something. Then I would say that they've missed the opportunity to have an even better window, because there's no doubt, you mentioned those players, but I mean, Guehi, I would put right up there alongside Isak in terms of those, and Wirtz possibly in terms of the quality of those signings they've made. But of course, they were trying to make this a Wirtz and Isak signing for £35 million rather than the 100 and 125 that they paid for the other two.
Roy, I just want to ask you about another of your former players. Eberechi Eze made the move to Arsenal. I mean, how exciting is that for Arsenal fans and actually for England fans as well?
Yeah, very exciting. I mean, he's a very, very good player. He, like Marc, he's been exceptionally well in a very good Crystal Palace team. I think that they'll miss him as well. I mean, it's all very well when you have players of that quality in a team like Palace, and for 5 years we really had Will Zaha as the outstanding light, as it were. And now, of course, there's several outstanding lights in the current team. But the bottom line is that if you really, really wanted to pursue that argument that this player is so valuable that even though his contract's about to end, we can't afford to let him go, then I think you've had to use the same argument with Eberechi Eze. It's all very well say we need a replacement, but the bottom line is that if you're Crystal Palace, it's very, very difficult to replace players of Eberechi Eze and Marc Guehi's quality. It's hard enough for Man City, Liverpool and Man United with the money they've got to find replacements for any good players that they think they're losing. For a club that are not at the very, very highest echelon of English football, it's even harder. You're lucky enough sometimes to get them. And I think the trick, of course, is to do what Palace have done. They've used money wisely to buy other ones, and thanks to Doug Freedman, they found so many good ones for very little money.
Roy, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to talk, Roy. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.